What happens when you get two guys from the street who absolutely love to eat and give them a license to rant? You get your hosts, John Peasy and Mikey Sausage.
Hey, Mikey.
I don't know, I think the whole intro was messed up already. I saw he fucked it up, this guy already. I'm gonna make him redo that.
Listen, we were just walking into the show the first second, we're already banging on Robert Hix. We're banging on him like a bad lady.
Easy. I'm not paying him tonight.
All the cash he's getting. What's up, Sausage?
Nothing. Another week. It was raining miserable yesterday, and then it was nice today.
Yeah, today was really nice. I was outdoors for a few hours doing manly things.
Yeah, I know. You called me up. You bought grommets and
grommets and a drill that goes like this as you screw around. It goes up, and it's called a hammer drill. Stop, hammer drill. I was doing that into concrete. I was doing manly. I walked out of there almost like I needed a shave.
But hammer drills have been around for years, so I don't know what the hell it's something new to you.
Very new to me.
Did you use that? Did you use the hammer drill?
Yes, I spent in order to make four.
Did she like it?
Yeah, in order to make 4 holes, I spent $180 on a wireless drill and $150 on a lithium battery.
That's you. You got it like that. 4 gigs yesterday, 3 gigs the day before.
Yeah, I'm rolling. I'm rolling with funny humor. Hey, speaking of humor, somebody yesterday at the last gig I did, you know what he gave me? This is the truth. Everything's legal marijuana. They gave me a marijuana brownie, and I couldn't keep it lit.
So, you on drugs is no good.
No, definitely not.
I definitely want
you. I'm not condoning anything.
Yeah, I like to hear about the '80s stories about you, though.
Hey, 80s stories. I wasn't doing anything but working.
I know you were 100 pounds heavy. I know you weren't doing coke. So
you're still going to bring that up. We know you're not doing coke now.
That's true.
Matter of fact, if you did, you should put it in your ears.
You never know. Some guys do coke and gain weight.
Yeah, right? You're right. Already like. So what did you do this week? What did you do this week, Sausage?
Today I had a very interesting morning. I went to something that you know very, very well.
Oh,
the
food?
Dance competition.
Oh, the kids' dance competition?
Oh, yeah, it's just wonderful.
And you can't wait to see your kids 3 minutes, and then the rest of the day you want to just put a knife in your eye.
So I stay out in the hallway.
Yeah, with all the other
I get the text. One dance before.
Right.
I come in, sit down.
Right.
Excuse me, and then I go out, and then I go out later on. One dance before, and I go in. Right. But
I used to do that, and I used to always say I want to bring a casino table in there with blackjack and have shots and have like whiskey and cigars, so all the guys while they're waiting before they watch their kid, they could all sit there and play cards.
Yeah, I was gonna sell flasks. That was a great idea. Just be loaded in there.
But it's not.
I did a very bad thing to my daughter though. So she said she tells my ex-wife, listen, tell Daddy. Don't videotape me because it's not allowed. And if they catch anybody videotaping, that whole team is disqualified.
Oh, really? That's the new rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my daughter comes and goes, where's Daddy? You're never going to believe what happened. What happened? They caught him videotaping and they threw him out. And now they're calling the cops because he started beating all the people up. And she knows that would happen.
Okay. I got to tell you, what's really interesting too is that I spent years at those competitions. My daughter's a dancer for a living.
I know.
And I remember being at all those things, and you really want to see your kid. But the hundreds of other kids and all the little girls running around in makeup and these dresses and the moms and all this stuff. As a guy, it's kind of like really just, what do you do? It's kind of uncomfortable for the guys. All the fathers floating around like zombies on the outside. Speaking
of comfortable, we get uncomfortable right now because I feel that we're getting profiled right now.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I hope he profiled you, not me. And matter of fact, I'm really looking forward to speak to Dale because all
right, let's go.
I actually researched Dale a lot about his past and all the things that he's done. And I got to say, this guy is very impressive. Now, first of all, people are wondering, who's Dale? Well, let me tell you who Dale is. Dale is a criminal behavior analyst and is trained. And when people say, "What's a criminal behavioral analyst?"
What's a criminal behavior analyst?
I have no idea. That's why I have to ask him. Actually, it is a hard thing to wrap your mind around. But he apparently analyzes people's behavior for the FBI and other places, which is kind of a creepy thing, isn't it?
It's terrible. Like, you know what he is, like forensic profiler, right? So like, right away I feel guilty. I didn't even do anything, right? So
Yeah.
I just feel guilty about what I did.
We're both on trial as we speak.
Obama.
He did it all. So let's bring him in. This is the wonderful Dale Yeager, criminal behavior.
Forensic profile is good.
Okay, we could call him multiple names. His wife calls him Pop.
Or as we call him, Jägermeister.
Jägermeister.
What's up, Jägermeister?
Hello, gentlemen.
Gentlemen,
that's really nice.
You're not a very good profiler.
That was quick.
Wow.
Hey, Dale,
I may be fat, but I'm fast.
Yeah.
Well, not running. But, so tell Dale, tell us, how do we describe your lifestyle as a for work?
He said he was in strip clubs. So.
I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I was trained by the federal government, and I teach primarily for the federal government. So for the Justice Department HIDTA program. So I teach interrogation, advanced interrogation, sex crimes investigation, and then counterterrorism. So been doing it for a long time. I enjoy it.
Creepy.
That's what I do. So
that's creepy stuff. Now where do you do this? Where? Everywhere?
I'm in charge of New York City, Long Island, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Wisconsin. So they assign me training for federal agents, and then also local detectives and things like that. So they send me, and then I teach. And then, we have a company, so we also do this privately for like Live Nation. We have contract with them. And then we have an education division, which is 30,000 public and private schools in the U.S.
So what do you do? What do you do for Live Nation as a private? What would they ask you to do?
We first worked for 8 years for House of Blues, starting in 2000. And so we revamped all their risk management, all their security, trained all their management teams. And then we went in there and did that and worked with them for 8 years. And then when they got bought by Live Nation recently brought us in to do a whole new training for all their management teams for the whole U.S. Regarding risk management and security. So,
but train them for what? What are you training them for?
To deal so you don't get hurt when you go to a concert.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're training you to keep their customers safe.
Keep gangs out, keep drugs out, keep all the issues. Yeah.
Well, if you keep drugs out, how do you make money on the side?
It's called booze.
Now, forensic profiler. Now, there's not many of you guys, correct?
Yeah, profilers, there's about 60 in North America.
So 60 official?
Official, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people are calling themselves profilers, and then we all email each other and say, who the hell is this guy?
Well, what defines that 60 that are legitimate?
If you're a criminal profiler, you were trained at the National Academy, which is the FBI Academy. If you are a general profiler, you were trained through a Justice Department program, like I was, and Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. And that's it. Anything outside of that, unless it was a foreign country situation like in England, you're just making up a title. But we have a lot of forensic accountants now because they can make more money rather than being CPAs. So just because you call yourself something doesn't mean you're the real deal. So.
But he also, I was looking into you today. I was reading your blog, which is fascinating, by the way. You could just sit there and read it. You have to. We all have. Anyone that's watching the show has to check out
my ranting
blog. Yeah, it's really actually pretty cool. And I was reading about other profilers too, and I'm not sure if there. But I read that the first full-time profile was a guy by the name of FBI was John Douglas.
No.
And that's incorrect.
No.
Okay. Good research.
Well, no, it's not. I'm not saying that to you, John. This guy has a PR team that boggles the mind. So let me explain.
Can I hire them?
Profiling was first created by Dr. Walter Langer in World War II for the OSS.
Okay.
You ever played a World War II video game? You're an OSS agent.
Hey, that's Hicks's people.
Yeah.
OSS became CIA. So then that was first used. Profiling was first used. He created the first profile, which was of Hitler. It's still classified as secret, which is interesting. But it was used as a military intelligence process. The first law enforcement to ever have a profiling program was the DEA in 1968, not the FBI. So what happened when Douglas and his people came along, they changed their profiling system, and John Douglas was very good at PR, and he still believes in his own head that he was the person that's in Silence of the Lambs. But
That's what I read online.
The author says that is absolutely not true, and he said it many times.
Interesting. All right, from the horse's mouth. That's wonderful to hear.
I went up against John Douglas, indirectly when I worked on the first JonBenet Ramsey case for the district attorney in Boulder. And he was hired by the family to come up with this document that said they didn't do it. And that was just abhorrent to me, but consistent with.
So wait a second. So he's a fellow profiler, correct?
He was a criminal profiler with the behavioral sciences unit at the.
So now, you guys can get hired by defense teams, or is that typically?
You can if you're not. You can. I can, yes, and you can. That he can because he's retired now. So.
But do you feel? Do you not do that? Is that something that's like?
I very rarely do criminal cases because I work for U.S. attorneys, district attorneys. You got to choose a side on criminal.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can't.
Yeah. Most of the expert witness work that I do with my team is on civil cases in the U.S. and Canada. So, but profiling is not what you see in the movies. It is not this. We're going to figure out who this secret guy is out there. It's nonsense. You have a suspect in front of you, and you profile the person that's in custody. And then what we do is we design interrogation questions to get them to crack. So people don't understand what we do. They think.
Can we understand more about that? Can we explain more about designing questions to make them crack? In other words, you want to get a rise, an action, anger out of them.
With Patsy Ramsey, the Ron Gossage, who was interrogating her, with Steve Thomas, who was the head detective, they said, let's make her angry because she was all doped up on antidepressants. You never saw her in her true state. And I wrote the profile on her. I wrote an assessment of the ransom note, and then I was asked by the DA a second time to come back and do a profile on her, which ended up in their book on page 300 and some odd.
Oh, it's public knowledge now. Is it public?
Well, it was stolen. We were using encrypted military faxes in those days. Sausage. Back in the day, we used to have fax machines. You're young. So, but anyway, does that mean I'm number one? So anyway, so they were stealing it. All the news people were hacking the fax machine. So it's all on the internet. You can read it. But I got her on the second question. She stood up and threw a chair. So I did my job. But
you're hired as an antagonist. Like you're a person, like you're supposed to poke people to get them to react.
It's not an antagonist. It's about getting to the truth. Because everybody, no matter who they are, feels guilty about something bad they did. And what you're trying to do is go in the unconscious mind and bring that memory forward so that they confess and give you factual information.
Yeah, but you could make me mad. That doesn't mean I killed somebody. I mean, I would get angry if you.
Right. No. We needed to get past the drugs. They needed to get past the drugs to get her to talk, because the drugs reduce your emotions, resistance to any kind of question.
But there was never anybody convicted in that case. But you believe
the grand jury issued an indictment for the mother and the father, and the DA lied. We didn't even find out till a year and a half, 2 years ago, that they actually indicted them, and he would not prosecute them, which was illegal, by the way, in the state of Colorado.
And how did they get away with that?
He got away with it because nobody has a political will to hold him accountable for it. I quit the case after Steve Thomas, the chief detective, quit. And my partner, my mentor, Sam Sullivan, who is a historical figure within the U.S. Secret Service, said, listen to me, you're going to be the last guy standing when the music stops and there's no chairs left. It's time to get out.
Wow.
Because this guy is screwing this thing up. And I'm going to tell you, we had a case built in 7 months, would have put him away. No problems with the mom. The problem is that the DA was outgunned by her attorneys. He was scared to death of them. So
wow. So you believe, then your belief that you believe that she is the
murderer.
Well, let me say it this way. The evidence is very clear that she murdered her daughter, and that the next morning she required her husband to go bury the body, which he tried to do.
So that means they were both, even though she may have done it, in your opinion, that the husband was well aware of what was going on, and they
could be charged with murder in the state of Colorado.
Well.
It's an open murder case, and we know they lied about their son being awake. That came out later. There was so much nonsense, and if I could tell you, if I could tell you what I know,
right,
you would drop out of your chair right now, because you would go, how in the hell did this not get out? If I could tell you the evidence, it would boggle your mind.
I understand.
So even though she's dead, you can't say.
No, so the case is going to be open. I'm going to go and die someday, and it'll still be open because it can't be adjudicated. She's not there.
But now they found out he lied. Now, is there a statute of limitations on that?
They've been trying to work the son for a long time because he knows exactly what happened.
But they always thought the son did it, right?
No. You know who brought that up? That was what's his face, the reporter, Geraldo Rivera brought that theory up.
Okay.
And we eliminated the son right away. He was 9.
He was 9. He wasn't even no puberty.
It wasn't even the issue. He didn't have the physical strength to do the damage to the body.
Let me ask you this though. I watched a documentary on there recently. There's a 20-year anniversary, and I watched a documentary. There was a guy on that showed the skull that when this little girl was hit, and the skull looked like it was hit with, they said, with a light, a flash, one of those big heavy-duty flashlights, and there was a crack in the skull, and it went across the whole entire head. And whether it's done with that or not, the crack against that little girl's skull looked like it was done with intent of hate, anger, and massive power, not some lighthearted tap, like a real.
So do you profile on how someone's murdered, like how in anger was it?
Well, I do profiles on sex offenders, serial sex offenders, rapists, a lot of sex offense stuff. Murder is occasional.
Like pedophilia, stuff like that?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I seen a lot of that stuff on your blog. Now,
stuff.
You find that people that do the same thing, let's say a pedophile or a child rapist or one that rapes boys, do they fit a kind of the same profile? Or can
yeah. Oh, no. These profiles have existed for a long, long time. They're very accurate. They're not guesswork, and we don't use intuition, by the way. When I hear a guy say I'm a profiler and my gut feeling is I want to punch him in the face, because there's a science here, and you stick to the science. You can't be putting people in prison based on your gut feeling. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense.
But I didn't get the answer to that question though. When this little girl being hit on the head with this, was that done with hate and anger? Do you believe?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Because the issue that I came up with when I profiled Patsy was a sociopath. Her mother was even worse. And the problem was she was a clean freak, and she was a control freak. She controlled her husband. She was violent towards her husband.
She was pretty religious too, right?
No, she wasn't at all.
Oh, okay.
She became religious after she got cancer.
Okay.
Isn't that ironic? When you think you're going to die. So the problem is that her daughter was becoming like her, because sociopaths are not mentally ill. It's a personality disorder. They like to be in charge.
Can you describe this a sociopath to the general?
Sociopath is someone.
Sausage.
No,
I've been called a sociopath.
No, Sausage is a goofball. That's okay. He's soft.
You got him profiled.
He's soft. But the issue is a sociopath is usually does not get involved in the dirt themselves. They initiate it with other people. They're instigators. They also like to be in charge. They see threats where none exists. They see their anger and aggressiveness as justified. And they are not in prison, by the way. You'll meet them on the street. You'll know these people. You have them in your family, believe me. And you don't have to be a serial killer or a serial murderer to be a sociopath. So it's a pretty clear definition. Hasn't changed in 60 years. It's very accurate. So. And
so she had issues then. She had this personality disorder, this sociopath disorder, and then in turn, you're saying that if she had done this murder, what would the anger and hate be from?
Because she said this in her diary, I'm losing control of my daughter. Because what's happening is her daughter started back talking, started doing things just to annoy her, like the bedwetting.
Right.
JonBenet was bedwetting, and when the pediatrician was asked why, he said it was disturbing. Her answer was disturbing. Her answer was, it makes mommy angry and that makes me laugh. So It's learned behavior. It's not some disorder that you can't control. It's a learned behavior. Nasty people are nasty people. And so she couldn't control her. So, there was a lot of issues going on in that family. It always kills me, the racism and the prejudice that went on in that case, because people would say to me, oh, white women with money don't do that to their children. That's something black women do in the inner city. And I was like, are you out of your mind? I said, being killed by your mother is the #1 cause of death for children ages 1 to birth.
Wow.
It's second for 3 to birth. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Women are extremely violent. They are 60% of the domestic violence in this country.
So why do we perceive women as not being able to do these things?
Because there are people out there who have political agendas, and their attitude is men are horrible. They're genetically prone to rape, which is nonsense. And so there's this kind of male bashing. You see it in commercials. The man is a moron. I mean, really? So all the guys that put men on the moon.
All the girls in the Facebook live are pissed off at you now. You're
going to get more threats.
Like I give a rat's.
Here comes some trolls.
Yeah, female trolls.
Bring it on.
You're going to get some.
But ultimately, I talk evenly about male and female behavior.
He's got bitchy trolls coming.
Well, that's okay. Hey, listen, I when I quit the case, I did an interview, 2-hour interview on CBS Radio in '99. And I made the statement. It was midnight, man. I was tired. I said, listen, Southern women, because she was from the South, Southern women with money are taught to lie to protect their families, just like in Gone with the Wind.
Okay.
Holy cow. It was like pulling a pin on a hand grenade. The amount of calls that came in from Southern women.
Wow.
Really?
I was like, wow. That was before the internet was the internet,
I don't know. It must be tough being his friend, right? But you feel like self-conscious, Peace. I'm being
I would.
Like if he's always trying to figure out,
I don't do that. I didn't profile my wife when we went on a date.
No, but I don't think you can help.
I did it all.
I don't think you can help it.
No, but I could see the uncomfortableness. Like if we were all sitting down, hanging out right now, having lunch or something at the Borgata, and we would start talking to him, and he say, "Hey, I don't want to say anything to this guy. He's gonna really know I'm a sociopath. He's gonna know I like
Listen,
to."
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I can tell about 65% of someone's personality without ever hearing them speak, just by watching them for about 5 minutes.
Get out of here.
Absolutely.
I would love to do that. Like people
I teach that in phase 1 when I'm teaching profiling. That's phase 1, indirect profiling. It's very easy to do. Haircut, jewelry, shoes. That's what you start with.
What does that tell you, baby? I'm fucking bald.
Mom has bad genes on her side.
That means that your hat looks like a shoe. So wait.
Well, you don't have that. You need this.
Or a Corvette.
But wait a minute. The first, you look at the hat,
No, you look at the hair, jewelry, and shoes.
Jewelry and shoes. Okay. And that's going to give you the first bit of description that you can start to build off of.
Yeah, because your jewelry tells me a lot about you. Like if you have a square or rectangular watch, generally you're good at math or science, because math and science people hate circles because it's an infinity. They hate circles.
That's interesting.
Little things like that. And then how much jewelry? What kind of jewelry? Tattoos tell me a lot.
Well, wait a minute now. I hang out with these people in Brooklyn, New York. They got tons of jewelry because they're Italian. They're Guidos. They got to wear it. That's part of their culture.
And
it doesn't mean.
What does that say about people wear a lot of jewelry? Who cares?
The old Jewish ladies in Florida. Now I'm in trouble.
No, the issue is the type of jewelry. It's not so much how much you wear, but the type of jewelry. You're wearing your personality right now. Look at your shoes. Your shoes are something you chose, and they tell a lot about someone. Shoes tell you a lot about people.
I'm getting called out, Dale.
Why is that? You got no shoes on?
I showed $1 bills. Hold on, Fredo. Here you go, Fredo.
Wow. Wow, pimping ain't easy, is it, Sausage?
Listen, somebody in the Facebook live room, she was an undergrad in criminology. She wanted to know, how hard is it, or how do you become a forensic profiler? Is it something that's attainable, or it's really very hard to get there?
Or where do you begin?
People that want to do it, I'm a lecturer at Howard University, Drexel, and Newman University. And what I do is I say, if you want to do it, first of all, do you have the skill? Because you got to come with a natural skill for it. Are you inquisitive? Do you like mysteries and secrets? Are you good at
You like being judgmental?
Well, no, it's not judgmental. No? I don't care about your life. I'm a radical moderate. I didn't vote for Trump or Clinton. So I take things as they are. I want to look.
I would have taken you as a Trumpster for sure, but
not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Where does
I want to build the wall up in Canada because I don't trust Canadians. But the issue really, we have more problems with terrorism coming across the Canadian border.
That's true.
So the issue is, I tell them, go in the military, get a college degree, go in the military, be an officer, and go into naval intelligence, Marine Corps intelligence, Army intelligence. That's the best way to get the training. Then once you do your 10 years or your 20 years, move into federal law enforcement.
Wow. So it's
so it's not easy.
Basically,
no.
Give up your life.
Basically, marry rich.
You gotta have a plan.
I got better advice now. You start with little dick jokes, get yourself a puppet, and enjoy your life. Don't worry about all this other stuff. Now wait a minute though. This is fascinating though. I have this OCD hook on the idea of the hair, the shoes, and the jewelry.
He's all fucked up, right?
No, it's like it's freaking me out because everywhere I go, people make fun of my hair and my shoes. And I wear no jewelry at the moment except for a penis ring. So,
okay. John, you have spent how many years of your life doing what you do now?
Oh, it's not about me.
I'm trying to explain your hair to you.
He's getting nervous.
You know what the hair is about?
You know something?
The hair is about attention.
Intention?
Attention.
Oh, attention.
Getting attention.
Yeah.
And what do? You perform live in front of people, which most people can't.
He wasn't breastfed.
Really? Wow.
Listen, no, when you say getting attention, there's definitely something truth to that without being egotistically judgmental about this. But,
well, he feels like if he highlights his head, they won't look at his fat ass.
The difference is though, when I was a kid, it wasn't that this attention-seeking thing happened. I actually remember years and years ago as a kid, I remember always being fascinated by things that are offbeat and far-fetched. To this day, I still think I like UFOs. I like hearing things about the Illuminati. I like ghosts. Yeah. I like anything that's not the average norm. The guy that works as a postman. I like all.
You wear what you are comfortable with, and you have an identity, and that's.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, he likes Illuminati and ghosts and all that shit. Oh,
but the thing is that look at Sausage. Sausage has a look. He doesn't think he has a look, but he's got a look. And I'm sure everybody has that after a certain period of time. It's what you're comfortable with, you know.
All right, what look would that be, Dale?
yeah. What look is that? Let's look at Sausage. I see a guy that's wearing dark colors to keep
Sausage. I'm going to tell you something about Sausage. You ready for a profile?
Yeah.
The Sausage is a guy who views himself as 25 years old, maybe 21.
Okay.
Even though he's an adult, he has a child, he has responsibilities, he runs a business, but he still is stuck a little bit in high school, college age group. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not unhealthy. It's just that's how he dresses. And that's who he is. That's how he thinks about himself. So when he's 90, he'll feel 60. So it's okay.
That's a good thing. So can I judge you?
But you're 57, Dale. You feel like you're 25 in your head, right?
I feel like I'm 40, and I'm in great shape. So
all right.
Yeah. Now wait a minute. Now can I make a judgment about Dale?
Feel free. And I don't call.
No, it's not a judgment.
Well, good genetics.
Mine has to be a judgment because I'm not a profile. I wouldn't want to kiss him off. He just told me.
Everybody, whoa. Go ahead and do it, but everybody profiles. I'm going to prove it to you in a minute, but go ahead.
You're very light skinned. You don't look like you get out in the sun a lot.
I get darker in the summertime. Yeah.
I would imagine you're behind a computer or indoors a lot.
No, not really. No, I'm out usually traveling. I'm German, Jewish, Sicilian, and Irish. So take your pick where that came from, okay? Family had a good time. But everybody profiles. Let me prove it to you. If you've ever been on a first date, and I hope you have, you profiled. They profiled you, you profiled them. Because a first date is actually a lie. It's all a con job. Nobody is being themselves.
True.
And so you're profiling each other. A job interview is a profile. Everybody profiles. Everybody.
Yeah. But when it comes to the first date, I always leave the knife and the duct tape in the car. I don't let people know my intentions till much later.
It's the chloroform smell that makes them run. No, but I profile everybody every day of my life in business, whether I'm at a meeting, a negotiation.
Well, wait a minute.
Anytime, I love human behavior.
But so do I. But so
like when I go out, that's the number one thing that used to piss any girl I was out. Is you look at everybody.
I think I think you're analytically judging rather than profiling.
No, it's not judgment. No? Sausage is running a business. If you're going to run a business, you have to assess people. Let's use the proper word here. Assessment.
100%.
You're assessing them because you got to sell, you got to market, you got to manage people, and you have to assess. And you do it all day long. Otherwise, you can't run a business. And John, you have an entertainment company. Well, you have to do assessment, right?
Well, I make fun of people for a living, primarily.
No, but he assesses. Dale, 1 second, Dale. He assesses every night because he takes particular people out of the crowd
and make fun of them,
and goofs on them, and he needs somebody at the end of the act to come on stage and help him, and he's looking for that person even before he starts.
Yes, of course.
If he's honest.
Assessment or is that judgment?
If he's honest.
No,
if he's honest, he'll tell you that.
That's professional assessment. There's no judgment there.
And
judgment is if I say to Sausage, I think your lifestyle sucks. I think you're an immoral piece of crap. I think you should do this, and that. That's judgment. When you assess people, that's just natural self-defense. You do that to protect your kids too when they're dating. You have to assess whether the guy that's taken out your daughter is a lunatic or not. That's right.
Well, we learned this very young, though. Like you burn your hand, you don't do that. You burn your hand. You learn the judgment of what's right and what's wrong. I mean,
don't touch. Hey, 1 second. You know what Prado said? He said the next generation augmented of reality glasses and stuff like that. You'll be able to put these glasses on. You'll be able to bring up people's Facebooks and Google searches in real time, and you can look into a crowd. So he said, will that be helpful? Like telling what a person's about? Like if you could look at somebody's Facebook or how they post and what they talk about and never met them, you think you could tell something about them, Dale? About their Google searches and stuff.
Facebook is edited. So Facebook, you only put up good pictures of yourself generally.
What about Google searches? What about Google? Aren't they profiling people?
Yeah, I mean, you can profile people with Google Advanced Search, not regular Google.
Right.
You can get a perspective on. We do due diligence studies, like when people are going to buy a business and or banks are going to loan large amounts of money. We actually do the assessment on the people, and we use Google. Google's great, Google's awesome. But you got to know what to look for, and you got to use Google Advanced Search.
Because a lot of people will tell you, like my friend's a headhunter. He will tell you, get rid of your Facebook, get rid of your Facebook page, get rid of.
I have 8 Facebook pages. One is for family and friends.
Right.
They try to hack it all the time. People that don't like me, and they have never gotten in, and they're never going to get in. And that's just for family and friends.
That leads me to another great question too, though, because now I love this internet security and all this stuff. I'm always looking at all this, and you're probably working for the FBI and being a profile and all the. You must have a different take or inside look out. So, what do you think then about things like the Tor network, the dark net, people trying to hack you through these means of phishing?
Good question. Do you believe in the ocean?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. If you step in it, you're going to get wet. Stay out of the dark web. If you're misbehaving, you're going to get hurt. That's number one. Number two is don't be a moron when it comes to your passwords. They need to be alphanumeric, and they need to be at least 30 characters.
Wow.
Because anything that's not 30 characters can be hacked by an automatic computer program. Secondly, you got to change them at least every 6 weeks, 7 weeks. you got to be disciplined about your life.
I'm doing that good. I'm doing good with this thing.
I have, just so you understand, 30,000 to 60,000 hacks per day on my personal stuff, my S1Ep3 website, our bank accounts, our email, each day.
And that's just me.
A lot of enemies.
That's just me trying to get into you. I want that FBI profiling information. And then I just found out something else. See that? Dale smokes.
No, I don't. Only find cigars.
But you know what the fine thing? You know what I tell my kids because they're old enough? I said, listen, the internet, do not post a picture. Talk about something, text about something, put a photo up that you are not going to be ashamed of because it's going to stay there and be there.
It's on there forever. Yeah.
Well, Dale has a book too that he's written called "The 3 Myths About Bullying" for about helping your children on the internet, right?
Yeah, but bullying, that's a big problem, right, Dale?
Well, the problem, the issue is that I was sitting there. We have 30,000 school clients in our education division. We invented the school security audit in '89. We are actually recommended by the U.S. Department of Education. And I'm going to tell you something. I hear more BS about bullying from bullying experts. And it just aggravated the hell out of me. So I sat down one day when I was watching Judge Judy, and I wrote this book. I literally wrote this book watching Judge Judy. And I said, here are the myths that people have about bullying, because you have to make correct decisions about your kids, and you better know the facts. And there's just a lot of nonsense out there. And so I'm proud of that book. You know, it's an Amazon Kindle book. It's easy to read, but it really gives parents some real facts. It's all sourced and all that. So
I'm getting the impression too, Dale, that when you have this frustration by things going on, that prompts you to make those actions, which is really telling something about you, that like when there's enough bullshit going on, you're like, you know, I'm going to make a action to correct.
Well, you know, I'm a businessman. I'm not a communist. I mean, I'm in business, but at the same time, this is a passion I have because I get sick and tired of hearing people say, oh, well, stuff happens. I love that phrase, random acts of violence, because I can prove that that's absolute nonsense. In 1999, the Justice Department did a study. They looked at all violent crime in the United States, rape, robbery, murder, everything. And they asked one question with a second part to it. How many of these crimes can be prevented and how? So here's what they figured out. 92 to 96% of all violent crime could be prevented. So when people say this idiotic statement, a random act of violence, I just feel like saying to them, you don't know what you're talking about. You're giving up. You don't understand that if you do your planning, do a little bit of planning, a little bit of careful understanding of things, you won't have these bad things happen to you.
Well, that leads me to the next thing then. What do you think then about today with the ISIS and this sort of terrorism with the Muslim community, with the radicalized and Sharia law? What do you think about that as a person that's profiling, trying to prevent issues?
I don't deal with overseas terrorism issues. My expertise is actually left-wing domestic terrorism. So let me answer by saying this. 10 years ago, I told the FBI, I told the feds, I said, we are going to have an outbreak of left-wing domestic terrorism. They're going to assassinate cops. I said this 10 years ago. And here's what I got. Oh, Dale, you're paranoid. Yeah, everything's going to be fine. Then all of a sudden last year, when they started assassinating police officers, they called me up and they said, hey, we need you down in Florida at the National FBI Conference to speak about this issue. And now I'm going to Canada, and I'm all over the place teaching how to get intel on these leftist groups. Wow. And people weren't listening.
Why did you see this coming?
I saw it coming because in 2000, I spent 10 years of my career with white supremacy groups. So Klan, Ku Klux Klan, American Nazis, all that kind of stuff. And one day, you know how you look at something for 10 years and all of a sudden one day it hits you that you've got it all wrong. And I called up my guys in DC and I said, we got a problem. They said, what's the matter? I said, these groups, most of them aren't right wing. They're left wing. They go, what? I go, yeah, they're left wing. These racist groups are left wing. So I started laying it out and they were like, wow, how did we miss that? I said, I don't know, but this changes everything. So then I started making the connecting points to all these radical leftist groups. And in 2000, I started studying them. And I started seeing how they were moving, and I tied it in Columbine. When Columbine happened,
yeah.
Well, I ended up getting asked by the White House, I put a team together. I headed that team for the White House. We did the report on Columbine, on the state of school safety in American schools. We actually did 3 reports between 2000 and 2007 for the White House and the Senate Judiciary Committee. And I'm going to tell you what, people were missing the boat. They were missing the whole thing. And I started seeing that connecting point. And I said 10 years ago, we're going to have cops being assassinated like back in the early 70s. If you remember the early 70s when they were killing police officers. And here we are.
And what do you, and you know, that's
the way listened.
That's great foresight on you. And so what do you think about the future then? What do you think we're going?
I think we're in for another 10 years of a lot of pain and suffering by people that are here right in the United States. I'm more concerned about them because frankly, the radical Islamists are being cared for by special operations, by NATO. They're being handled fine. That's not an issue. The issue is right here at home. You have people that hate their own country. You have people that are either tacitly involved or directly involved in encouraging this. So it's scary stuff.
Hey, Dale, what do you think about this election, the effect it's had on people? Is it?
You know, the problem is
it's a little abnormal, don't you think?
President Obama was my president, but I'm in DC more than I'm home. So I have an insider's understanding of DC. And I can tell you that there was a lot of problems going on for 8 years that people just are delusional about and don't want to talk about. And a lot of dangerous decisions that weren't made by that president. So, you know, people wanted this kind of agenda that they hear about in college, this progressive view of the world. And the problem is it's been tried before and it doesn't work, i.e. Greece, the EU, doesn't work. And the problem is that now Trump comes along. Well, he's a businessman. He's going to run things like a business. That's a problem because, you know, he's not used to Washington. So there's going to be a learning curve. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, his decision to go into Syria I was happy that day. My heart leapt for joy because all the intelligence guys that I work with, they were so frustrated when President Obama did not line in the sand and did nothing.
Yes. What about Hillary now? Did you ever profile Hillary?
Well, I've known Hillary since I was 28, so I know a lot about her.
Wow.
We'll just leave that on the side.
You're not allowed to be.
But let's put it this way: in my personal opinion, I think we dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll leave it at that. Okay.
Okay. Now you got half the country hating you on one side.
That's okay. That's okay because you know what?
Because you have 36 passwords. 36.
Anyone who supports her, if they're intelligent, educated people, take a step back, be dispassionate, stop being emotional, and ask yourself some critical questions. And you're not going to like the answers. That doesn't mean you support Trump.
Right.
It means that you have your doubts about Hillary Clinton.
Well, I respect the way that you said this, by the way. And, you know, tell me if you think this is the case or not, because what's happened, I think, has happened in the last decade, maybe, is that years ago, a guy would come home from work and hand a newspaper and read it and then yell at his wife and kids, look what's going on here, and, you know, whatever. They'd be upset. And maybe they go to the bar and hang out and talk to their friends and have a little argument about it. But what happened was the social media growth over the last decade, tremendous social media growth, like on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff. People started becoming quarterback armchairs, where they're actually, football quarterback armchairs, where they just started expressing themselves verbally out into the world on these social media sites. And that has grown to such a point where they believe they could actually take that now and physically go into the streets and become the same people, have these same opinions and hurt other people and not have a dialogue. I'm not talking about encouraging dialogue because dialogue I'm into, but I'm not into name calling and disgraceful put downs in order to.
This isn't gonna stop because here's the problem. If you look at millennials, the last several generations of people that are teens and in their 20s come from some of the most dysfunctional families you've ever seen in your life.
Today, yes.
Wealthy, low income, and they are so full of personal anger and they express it through their politics. So this has little to do with that. And then you have these truly sociopathic people that run these organizations and they suck these kids in and they give them an outlet for their rage. And we're seeing violence at Berkeley. We're seeing violence at all these college campuses. I wrote a blog post about this. And the thing is that this is not going to stop. This is scary stuff, man, because they don't want to have a dialogue with you. They are fascists who hate fascism. It's bizarre. And if you're a true liberal, I mean, we're a liberal democracy, liberal meaning liberty, you should want a dialogue. I have friends that are liberal. I have friends that are conservative. And then there's the radical moderate that's me. But the thing is, we have discussions. We don't beat the hell out of each other.
Yes.
But this generation, they want violence because they're so angry by their own personal lives. This is personal anger issues, plain and simple. And I don't want to sound like Dr. Phil, but I'm telling you, when you talk to them, it soon quickly turns from politics to their horrible upbringing.
Really? That's fascinating that you see it too. And I think you're right. You know, I spoke to a guy today who called me. He's an entertainer. And he said something to me really that just like hit me so strong. He said, you know, I'm getting older now. I'm 76, he goes, and I'm just telling my daughter and who's having children and stuff, when I die, whatever money I have, I will give it all to you, my house, my money. But whatever you do not use that money for college.
Yeah.
And because he felt that what's going on today in colleges was so unfair that he didn't want to put them into that machine because.
Yeah, but there are colleges and universities that don't tolerate that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you that the University of Chicago president came out and he said, this will not be tolerated.
Mm-hmm.
We will beat you and throw you out in the street. Princeton doesn't tolerate this, which is the greatest university in the world, by the way, because it's in Jersey and they don't have grade inflation. Did you know that?
No, I just don't.
Harvard and Yale have grade inflation. So if you flunk everything, but you come to class, they'll give you a passing grade. You know what happens at Princeton? If you flunk everything, they kick you out and get the next guy in. Okay. Because that doesn't fly in Jersey.
Right.
So the bottom line is there are places to go that still Auburn. There's really great places to go to get a good college education. But a lot of this nonsense is these professors all grew up in the 60s and early 70s, and now they want their glory days back again. So they're firing up their kids with all this rhetoric. And the bottom line is that my issue with Trump is this. He is the president of the United States. The president is not a person. It's an office, and you show respect to it.
Agreed.
We had dinner one time. My son was 11 at the time. We had dinner with Hillary Clinton when she was a senator. And he says, I don't like her. I'm not going to stand up. And I go, you're going to stand up because she's a senator. You're going to show respect to her office. And we've lost that now. I mean, kids will walk right in front of you and not apologize because we're trained to be polite.
We've learned to not be polite, as a society, and it's disgraceful. Actually,
brutal.
You know,
it's brutal.
I look back at the old movies in the '50s where people wore suits and ties, and women wear dresses, and I know it's a little bit old-fashioned, but I look at it, it seemed like even though there was racism that was really bad, it seemed like people, even if they weren't, looked a little more cultured. They spoke, they laughed more easily.
There was less aggression.
Yeah, you didn't have to be hit in the head to make them laugh.
But we've created this by electing people who have these really radical ideas about the world. I mean, just outside of the realm of America. You know, you can be a liberal in America, you can be a conservative in America, you can be a libertarian, but these people are way off in left field, man. They're way off. And
you're right, though. It's fueled by anger.
It's fueled by anger, and these people hate the United States. And when you talk to them, I say to them, you want to change the Constitution. I want to burn the Constitution. I want to make a new one.
Oh,
by the way,
easy, big boy, easy.
No, they say this. They say this to me.
Oh, I thought you meant
on
you
a regular basis. No, these people want to do that. Do you realize the EU, the European Union, do you know how many pages is in their Constitution? 432.
Wow.
And this guy in Britain wrote this op-ed piece, and he said, I find it interesting that the EU took 430 pages to do what the Americans did in 5.
That's amazing.
You know, so we have these people that want to micromanage everybody's life and be their babysitters. And it's sad, man. It's just sad.
Hey, Dale, we got another question from the Facebook chat. They want to know if you're an ASIS member, security professional member or something like that.
Yeah, I just spoke at their conference in Florida, actually.
Okay, there you go. He's an ASIS member. They're profiling you, Yeager.
American Society of Industrial Security. It's not.
Okay, I don't know what the hell it meant. I thought you meant ISIS, like a typo. I thought they were joking.
I'm also an InfraGard member with the FBI, which Jesse Ventura on one of his shows said we were part of the Illuminati. And I can tell you that I am not part of the Illuminati.
Oh God, I saw that show. That was you. It just hit me now. I'm looking at your face. I watched that show.
No, I wasn't on the show, but he was just trashing Infraguard. Well,
I saw they went with the fences. He went in with trying to get through.
We create plans of action to protect the infrastructure of the United States. So
sausage, we have an Illuminati guy here. I knew it was going to happen. It was
not at all. Not at all.
This is real. Dale, I hate to be this. Other people sound ridiculous, but what do you think about this Illuminati conspiracy thing? What do you believe about it?
Here's what I will say, and I've been asked.
Well, when you say here's what I will say, that means I'm limited as to what I'm supposed to allow.
I have enough aggravation in my life. I don't need more. There are people from the beginning of time who run things, both in the United States.
That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say.
The movie industry, in different parts of the world, and they run things, and they're always going to run things, and
so there's an agenda.
Who cares?
I care.
Yeah, but please, you think this?
Did you just see what he said, Sausage?
I know. I'm trying. I know you're getting very excited.
It's very clear. It's very clear to me. That's all I'm saying. That's like asking the president, "Is it UFOs?" And he's like, "Well,
but and I do, and I believe in UFOs. I believe in all that stuff. But what I'm telling you is Prince. Why he went to a symbol was they basically came to him. I used to be in the music industry in the 80s, and I'm going to tell you right now, I had that meeting, and I told them, screw you and the horse you rode in on. The bottom line is, in the music business, there is a cabal, and if you want to make $100 million a year, you got to do what they ask you to do. And Prince they were like, hey, you're making all this money, you're not part of the meetings, you're not part of the cabal. And he said, screw you, because he was Prince. He didn't need them. And they started really putting a lot of pressure on him. And that's when he went to the symbol. And it wasn't just about business, but this is in the entertainment industry. You know this. Why do you think certain people who have no talent end up doing $100 million a year? Do you ever think about that?
I think about it all the time.
I mean, come on.
Where do I sign up?
So Sausage is a whore, and he'll sell it. Wow.
That's Mr. Money Whore to you.
By the way, you just profiled. Now he has no integrity as well.
So I have a look with no integrity.
And you know something? I'm so happy to hear a guy that worked in the FBI profiling actually say those words, because to me, I've looked at those things online.
He's looking for confirmation. And you gave it to him now.
But it's true. There seems to be an agenda in all these different industries trying to direct and move and make people become the cattle that they choose them to be. And I don't appreciate it. And I grew up thinking America.
I wrote a blog post about an interview with Elijah Wood from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And this dude came out, and I mean, what guts? And he said, there is an organized pedophilia ring in Hollywood that's been there for decades, and nobody has the guts or the political will.
Yeah, I saw that.
And nobody will mess with him because he's got some star power. But I put that up on my blog post, and people were sending me little messages privately going, it's absolutely true. I go, I know it's true.
Wow. And
they take advantage of these children and abuse them. It's like Michael Jackson 2 years ago. What did they find in his house when they were remodeling it? And you're going to say, why the hell didn't we hear this story?
The other glove?
They had it on page 3. They found a secret room when they were remodeling his mansion recently. Guess what was in the room? Videotapes, VHS tapes, DVDs of 5-year-olds being tortured.
Wow.
Children 6 and 7 years old. So I sent a tweet out.
Now, by the way, now you have another people are going to hate you now.
Story on Twitter, and I said, to all you jackasses who were on the jury who didn't convict him of child molestation, how do you feel now? Click here.
I didn't hear the story about this room. I didn't hear this.
It was everybody buried it. Nobody wanted to talk about it.
You bury it.
Because the bottom line was that people will be ignorant about people's behavior if they like them. And they'll give them a wave. They'll say, oh, that's the way celebrities are. Really? Raping children?
They give you a pass.
I wish I could talk about the celebrities I know for a fact, because I work in Hollywood, who do this routinely with children.
Wow.
And the feds try to go in there, and they're protected by people in Hollywood. It's unreal what goes
Must be so frustrating, Peasy.
This is
Like,
more fascinating than the actual profiling stuff to me. What he's talking about now, to me, is freaking me out because that's to me like real. He's telling you right now, this stuff is there. I know it. I've been there. I've seen it. I've done it. You know, and he can't talk about it. So it's kind of it's disgraceful that we live in a world where that's not really exposed. And for what reason, I'm not clear. Who is
he's got so much stuff in his blog that I could have a 7-hour interview about all this shit. I mean, just like the genital mutilation and this campus rape and so many other things that he had on there. It was crazy.
It always goes to the genital mass. They always go to the genital area, doesn't it? So,
and he got like that that prep school, that JFK prep school that was in it, and then
40, 50 years it's been going on.
Yeah, then he has like that Indian women are like the most abused, like American Indian, right? Like one of the
Native American women have the highest amount of violent crime as females in the United States.
You know, but there was something else too that he had on there that about lone wolf. Right. Yeah,
there's no such thing as a lone wolf terrorist. I've been saying that for 10 years. Nobody was listening. There's no such thing. Everybody, let me give you an example of this. Remember the Ted Kaczynski?
Yeah.
Okay. The Unabomber?
Yes.
How did we catch him? You remember?
The Unabomber. He was
I'll tell you. So
was it something with a letter or something?
No. When people say I'm a good citizen, I go, really? Let me tell you a story about good citizens. His brother and sister-in-law saw that manifesto on the New York Times and said, that's Teddy.
Wow.
They called the FBI, and they loved their brother. They loved him. And they said, as long as you don't kill him, we'll tell you where he is. And the FBI said, we will not. And I know the guys on that team. They said, Dale, we were going to catch this guy without their help. These people turned in someone they loved for the good of the country. That's called a good citizen.
Yeah.
So don't tell me you're a lone wolf. That's bullshit, excuse me, because someone in your family and friends knew you were going to do this crap. Just like the guy that shot up that nightclub in Orlando, Pulse nightclub. I have a whole thing about that.
What, the father, you mean?
No, the wife. The wife said, I didn't know nothing about it. Well, you were on recon with him 4 times. You didn't know anything about it. Now she's finally arrested, and she's going to do some time.
Yeah, but they are alone. So are you
a lone wolf? It doesn't exist.
Yeah, but is lone wolf using that kind of semantical that it's not existing?
No. It's not a semantics issue. The press loves to do this because they don't want to talk about conspiracies. Well, listen. The federal government says that if Sausage and John get together and say we're going to kill somebody, that is considered by federal law a conspiracy. Why can't we talk about this?
Why?
Why can't we?
I don't know. Why is the
people
media
get paranoid when you talk about conspiracies? Does I know the Secret Service agents that were there the day Kennedy got shot. Sam Sullivan brought the body back. My mentor, my senior VP that started the company with me. And I said to him one day, I said, what do you think? He was second shift, okay? He goes, none of us bought that. We were all in the Korean War. We know what a crossfire is. There were 3 gunshots going on. They knew this long before the movie JFK.
See, now he's blowing the whole JFK thing open too now, you see?
Logic. It's logic.
I'm coming over your house.
Common sense. Huh?
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you privately.
It was the mafia, Peasy.
No.
So, Sam Giancana.
No.
No?
Nope.
They killed their own president?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like that old joke.
Did they get Bobby Kennedy too?
Well, of course.
Yeah. Wow, they cleaned up everybody.
Remember his assassin doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, but you got to know one thing, Dale.
Yeah.
Right away, you figure it out. Is the guy that shot Kennedy now is going to get shot? So Sirhan, that was the one that shot.
Sirhan was his brother.
Okay, now Jack Ruby killed JFK's guy there.
Yeah.
The guy in the tower there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's all. And that guy had cancer. He was going to die.
Let me tell you something. He had a Maliker Carcano Italian Army rifle. I owned that as a teenager. I used to do deer hunting with it.
Wow.
It was so inaccurate. I went back to a shotgun. That's how inaccurate it is. There's no way he did an assassination with that rifle.
No, he didn't remember anything though, but he remembered nothing. So I've heard that they used to this MK Ultra mind control program that they used to actually program and hypnotize people. So they would give them a keyword and they would behave and then be stymied and not remember.
Yeah, this goes on today with advertising, by the way. Did you ever notice everything's in 3?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why it's in 3s is 3 is the key number to getting to the unconscious mind.
That's right. I love this guy. You're the best. I love Dale. I could sit here and talk to Dale. I could have dinner with Dale every night.
Just bring Padron cigars. That's all I smoke. So
no, but I didn't realize as you come in as a profile that this was going to be. We could even go in this direction because it's really more interesting to me to see somebody on the inside say, "Yeah, this is kind of happening." And you notice this. You notice that. Yeah, I notice it all the time. I'm a comedian. I notice everything.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the Deltron thing. I notice everything.
You're an observer.
Yeah, observer.
So I don't know what he is. But.
No, but people are very they don't believe this stuff exists, or they don't want to believe it exists. Maybe you know what I'm saying?
They call you crazy.
There is no comfort if someday you find out that most of what you were taught is nonsense, and that's the problem. And so it's better to make jokes about it.
Right.
And the problem is that what you were taught is not accurate because every day we just found a place in Turkey that predates Egyptian culture. And everybody's freaking out because it's like these guys had incredibly detailed skills that eclipse that of the Egyptians. And everybody's like, okay, we got to rewrite the history book.
What are you saying, Dale?
Listen. We were fed a line of nonsense which is not accurate.
I think you're talking about aliens now, Dale.
No, I'm not talking about aliens. I'm talking about the fact that people are more sophisticated all those years ago than we gave them credit for.
Which means there was a different race or a different kind of people or more technological, or maybe there was something that happened. You know,
Every culture in the world says we're in the third start of the world.
All over again.
Even the Jewish Torah talks about this. That
yes.
This is not the world we're in right now. Is the third version.
I've read the Torah. I've read all of these. I've read behind this wall of 500 books on everything, and so and after reading them all, I'm confused.
Well, it's okay. I'm amazed that you can keep all your victims quiet during the interview.
Actually, they're all behind me, right over there.
Okay.
There's 30 puppets right behind me in this room. I actually love it, but you know, this is interesting what you're saying now. So, so the history of our history is incorrect. There's a cabal of people moving things around an agenda. We're being sold stuff through media, social media, and every other kind of media, making us behave and nudged and directed to do and behave, act in certain ways. Yeah. And yet 99% of the American public is unaware of it. And if they are a little bit aware of it, you bring it up to them, they say, hey, that's a conspiracy. You're a crazy person.
Well, actually, they're aware of it. But you know what? The opposite thought to them is scarier than staying with the system. Because the opposite means they have to make a decision for themselves.
We all have to call ourselves a symbol.
Well, just listen, people don't want to, they're uncomfortable. I mean, people right now in the world, there's wars going on, horrible things in Syria.
Are those distractions maybe from what's actually happening?
No, it's because people sit here comfortably and we sit here safely. We don't appreciate that sometimes, how safe we are here in the United States. But the rest of the world's in chaos. It's burning to the ground. And at some point you have to give a damn. And a lot of people don't. They just go with their lives every day and do their thing. And they're not paying attention because the information's right there. You don't have to watch Ancient Aliens to know this. You just have to look at things.
Excuse me, Dale. Peasy, so Dale has this other book about juggalos. You know what juggalos are, Peasy? Juggalos are the fans of this insane clown posse group that's kind of like rap.
It is rap,
rock, whatever it is. Like I see them a lot. They put this clown makeup on and they sing. But Dale is saying that there's some sick individuals.
What's going on?
Coming after me. I love everybody, but Dale said you're sick.
Well, the book is actually a white paper I wrote for the feds.
Okay.
On domestic terrorism.
Wait, so they actually were looking into these people?
Oh, of course.
Wow.
During the Clinton administration, the Juggalos were classified as a gang, and then they sued the government. They still have the lawsuit pending to get rid of that classification.
But wait, they're a gang that didn't know each other?
No, meaning that the Juggalos as a movement act as a criminal gang. The amount of crime that's committed, violent crime and sex assault by Juggalos, is disproportionate to the rest of society.
Why is that?
Because Juggalos attract a lot of dysfunctional kids.
Can you just define Juggalos to the people that don't know what this is?
So, Insane Clown Posse is a band you've heard. I mean, I used to have them on my workout tape. And they started Psychopathic Records. And they started this movement like followers, a cult kind of following with them. And their followers started just really adding to the mystery of who they are, and that these several albums all combine together to tell a secret about the world. And it's become this kind of pseudo cult kind of thing. And the amount of violence they do is mind numbing. And I was interviewed for a documentary that's coming out from a student from Yale University. And he actually likes Juggalos, but he is very concerned about the violence. So the documentary is coming out. I forget when it's supposed to be coming out next year, I guess. But this is a very scary group. But the group that scares me the most is Straight Edge. And Straight Edge has been around since '82. They don't drink, smoke, sex before marriage, and they listen to straight edge music like Fugag. My brain just went.
They don't drink, smoke, or have sex before. That's frightening.
Well, that's morphed a little bit, but ultimately they're very attracted to radical left-wing domestic groups, to terrorist groups and radical groups, and so are Juggalos. And so they're being recruited and used kind of as soldiers. And that was the whole point of the book. And parents have no clue because they're like, well, they're just trying to be good kids. And I'm like, you got your head in the sand here, you know, and you got to understand that your kids are involved with a gang. In fact, if your school has Juggalos and Straight Edge, and trust me, they do, you can actually qualify for gang interdiction federal money.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, every school in New Jersey, public and private, has Juggalos and or Straight Edge, rural, suburban, and urban. We've already.
What is the name of this book on the Juggalos that you've written?
Do you know who the Juggalos are? Your kids do.
Your kids do. And you can get that, and you can get that too on Kindle.
Yep.
Yeah, but now can they actually convert someone to be some way that they're not really like? If a kid just likes to, does he have to be predisposed to like that band? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, they're attracted to this. We're all freaks, and we're together as freaks, and we don't have to comply with the rest of the world. And most of them are unemployed.
So they send that message out in music, or they say, "Hey, if you're not accepted,"
they encourage this. They encourage it, and I tell them right to their face. By the way, they do this for $1. They don't believe any of this. The band,
just like Lady Gaga and the Little Monsters kind of thing.
Well,
too?
I think she's more sincere about that. But
do you really?
They're doing it for $1. It's they're not sincere about it. They
now, are there other groups?
Listen, that's the only time I can be little. Don't make fun of her.
Are there other groups like this though that we're not even aware of? Other ones like, and we've heard of these. Are there other ones out there, smaller fractions?
Right now, the big thing is the anti-fascist movement, Antifa, and there's a bunch of those jumping up, and they're all anti-fascist, but they act like fascists, and they beat the hell out of people.
Well, if we knew the truth, we'd probably be very scared.
No,
it's not as bad as it sounds, but the problem is you have people in leadership who are clueless as the day is long, and they don't understand who these groups are and how dangerous they are, so they kind of encourage it as self-expression. Well, just because I feel something doesn't make it good or healthy. I feel a lot of things every day.
I got, Pete, I got a good question.
Yeah,
I got one too that's burning me. One question.
Ask yours, and I'll ask mine.
Thank you, sir. What about Anonymous?
They came after us for 4 years, and finally the feds arranged for a truce. So we've all gotten along. They don't like the fact that I call them terrorists.
Are they?
And they, of course they are. And they would write little messages on the server, but they made a mistake. The mistake was that all of my IT guys are retired special forces out of Fort Bragg. So not only can they kill you, but they can hack your computer. And when they found out that these guys were like pseudo-communist types, they went after them with a vengeance, which started more problems. But we're all getting along right now.
So Anonymous is hackable?
That's amazing.
No, they weren't hackable, but they were told to behave themselves.
Wow, that's crazy that you would have to give up this coexist. That's strange. Like, but you're the federal government. Like, I mean.
No, they didn't say coexist. They said leave Dale Yeager alone.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I have a mommy and a daddy biologically, and then I have a mommy and a daddy on a higher level.
Now, is there a certain profile for a Scientologist?
Good question.
Scientologist? The Scientology thing, I find it makes complete sense to me. I don't think people know the history of it. No, I don't mean it makes sense that I would follow it. Right. I understand why it was created. He was involved with an intelligence officer from CIA back in the day, and they were into really hardcore occultic stuff. This is what's his name, the writer who invented
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, and they were doing some really scary stuff, like really hardcore black magic kind of stuff. And the understanding was that he made a bet, I can start my own religion, and he said, no, you can't, and the rest is history.
They made a bet.
But it always kills me when people say, how can these intelligent people follow this religion? And I'm like, who are we talking about that's intelligent? Tom Cruise graduated from 9th grade. That's the highest he ever went.
Yeah, but he was banging that redhead.
These are not people that are Fulbright scholars, okay?
No, but you told me that usually people that do the same thing kind of have the same kind of profile in common.
Well, what happens
necessarily in a cult? Would you call it a cult?
It is a cult. Okay. Scientology, in my opinion, is a cult. And what they do is they say to them, look, we're going to help you to improve your career. We're going to give you a boost because we're going to teach you how to get rid of all your negativity. It's kind of a pseudo psychological weird kind of thing. And, kind
of like the Illuminati, huh?
Well, that's more organized. Whatever you call it, Illuminati, you call it the world order, whatever it happens to be, the EU. I mean, it's people with an agenda, and they have the power and the money to organize things. That's part of the problem. What scares the hell out of people that run the world, to get on that kick for a minute, is this Trump thing. Scares the hell out of them.
Why?
You know what else scares them is the Brexit.
Why?
Brexit
He's
thing.
not part of the club.
Because Winston Churchill, he's one of my heroes. He said, democracy is the only form of government that when people get angry enough, they can change things. And in Brexit, they said, you know what? This EU thing's a bad idea. Margaret Thatcher said it was a bad idea. We're getting out. And they're smart to get out. And now Spain's going to follow, then Italy. It's all falling apart. And when Trump got elected, and I have issues with Trump, things that he proposes, but guess what people said? I don't like the last 8 years. I've got this idiotic health insurance that's worthless as utters a bull. And I want somebody that's looking out for me. And this guy has no axe to grind because he owes no favors in Washington. He's already a billionaire. So it's not like he's going to make any more money.
Perfect storm.
And you know what? He's going to be the hand grenade, which is what I love. I love when guys shake things up because it scares the hell out of people. I like doing that myself.
But first of all, the Brexit thing, wasn't the Brexit thing because they really wanted to cut that immigration down and they wanted to separate so they could get control of
it was economic. Why should I use a euro, which is killing my they're using the pound in England, but the euro was affecting their economy. Cut the umbilical cord. Be your own thing, man.
Two questions. Pizzagate, and also spirit cooking that they said was being done by our people here in what's his name, Clinton's.
Hold that door before you die. I just want people to know,
question.
Hold on one second. For the last 25 or 20 minutes, we were having a little production problem. So you're going to see us changing. I should have brought it up before, but Dale's name always being a lower third. We had a little problem with the production going out. The stream is going out, and it's like switching when we talk, but 3-shot is gone and stuff like that. So I mean, we're almost done with our time. We're like 15 minutes over already. It was so interesting, but I just wanted to bring it up to people in case they were watching that.
So it's not them. It's not them. It's
not
us.
them. It's not you. It's me.
Sausage, you had a question. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Someone asked in Facebook, and I don't know how I like to try to ask questions of people.
Yeah.
They want to know if you have any opinion on the cryptocurrency, on Bitcoin, on any of that stuff. If you have any opinion, or if you know anything.
Question.
I think it was predicted about 15 years ago that people would have a currency that wasn't a government currency, so it made sense to me. The problem that I have is with the amount of criminals that use it, but I don't work in that field, so I don't really care.
Yeah, right, okay.
But Pizzagate. So there are very wealthy, powerful people that are involved in some really nasty stuff. And it's very common, whether it's happening at this pizza parlor, which is a little bizarre, some of this information. Whether it's happening with these people, I don't know, but I will tell you that there are some very scary, powerful people that are involved in some really nasty, vile, evil stuff with children. And it's really disgusting.
There's some sick people in this world, Yeager.
Well,
Yeah, but Yeager's confirming this. You see what I'm saying? He comes from the FBI background, and
well, I wasn't in the FBI, but
you were
Justice Department. I was trained by the Justice Department. So,
and what about John Podesta?
I find him and his brother's taste in art very, very bizarre. When you're into dead bodies and dismembered people, that says a lot about what's going on up in the.
What does it say? What's going on? It's guys in politics. What does it say?
No, I know a lot of politicians that are good people. And,
you do. Who are the good politicians?
There's a lot of good ones out there.
You want to put a label on any?
I will tell you that I'm hoping that Nikki Haley becomes the first female president of the United States.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of Marco Rubio. So
Rob Hix is like giving thumbs up and he's all happy.
He is kicking ass and taking names. She's phenomenal, but I knew that was going to happen. Marco Rubio is a statesman if he would get better people around him.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good people down there.
Hicks like Rubio.
Yeah, I can see him there. Yeah. So, I got to tell you, I didn't think this profiling interview would go anywhere Dale
Come
has
on,
done.
dude. I pick guests good, bro.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And Dale, I got to tell you, Dale, I could sit here and talk to you.
Yeah, we got to have him back because now time is up, bro.
Absolutely.
Feel free. I love to yap. So.
Yeah, but it's interesting too. Is that I'm judging you. I'm not profiling you, but I can see you're a nice guy.
Hey Dale, did you enjoy yourself a little bit?
Show.
This was fun. You guys don't edit me. That's Howard Stern. When I was on Howard, I've been on Howard on the phone and then in the studio.
Okay.
He didn't edit me. He just let me talk, and he's such a great interviewer. And you guys are the same way. You just let me talk, and that's what I love.
But we interrupt each other a lot, but that's all my fault.
No, it's not. We just
you guys work well together.
It's just how we are. It's like we're having a conversation, hanging out. That's what we would do, right? We would interrupt each other. We show the blemishes on the show. You'll see me looking at my phone. I'll answer. This is what we do.
I've had my hands in my crotch the whole time.
If we're going to be unprofessional, we're going to be really good at it being unprofessional.
I keep looking at Rob.
So now, Hicks, we can't do the outro. Okay, we gotta just cut the show. No, the whole thing froze on him.
By the way, I just want to say though, this interaction that we're all having, Dale's like really forthcoming. But I just want to say that this interaction that we're all having is not that just natural three people having a good time. I only interrupt and jump because I'm excited to hear what he has to say. You can see my excitement. I actually feel like we shouldn't end this right now. I'd like to talk to this guy for 3 hours off camera.
But what are you trying to say? As opposed to me, what's the difference between us?
Well, the difference between you and him is 100 pounds.
More than 100, I think.
Listen, the thing that John's going to do when the show is over, he's going to call somebody, and
he has your fucking number, Yeager.
He's going to call some people, and he's going to go, "I knew it, and Yeager said it's absolutely true.
It's true.
We're screwed."
Yeager, we appreciate you coming very much.
You're welcome.
And we hope you had fun, and we hope you'll come back. I know
I would love to
have you back.
Yeah, I would love that anytime. I have him back every week. I love it. It's really wonderful.
And we got a couple of good shows coming up. I will put a promo out probably tomorrow for next week and the week after. What do we got coming up in the next couple of weeks, Beezy?
Well, we got this guy Gabriel Brown, who's like an internet sensation. He's
what does he do?
He's fantastic. He could do impressions of anybody. He's like unbelievable. And then we also have coming up a lady that's a Barbie who spent like $100,000 to look like Barbie, and she looks like a Barbie doll. She looks exactly like.
So she paid the plastic surgeons to make her look like an actual Barbie doll.
And she looks exactly like a Barbie doll.
Wow, look, he's profiling already. See, that's spinning. I see smoke coming out of his ears.
If we could have Dale come back, we have to have him profile Rob Hix. You know, just the haircut alone is got to tell you a lot.
Rob, remember Grammys.
The Grammys.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're just gonna cut the show dead, and we're gonna put an outro in there. And it's gonna look good on the edit, but not now.
Thank you.
Wonderful job, Dale. Thank you.
See you, peace.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take it easy, Sausage. It's been too much fun.
Love you.